So this is what I got going on today. I got the GoPro set up because my next project on this rainy day is I'm going to be putting in a shooting range right there. And it just focused on my finger instead of the range. But right there, from right where this GoPro is exactly 100 yards and it's level. So kind of right where that stump is at. Right there. So I got the GoPro set up to do a time lapse of this. All I'm going to do is just build a berm, build a flat spot to set up targets, and take all that dirt and put it on the uphill side. So let's go start the tractor and get to work. Engine oil looks good. This tractor, you can lock the clutch pedal down, little bar that's up under here, so I don't have to be sitting in the seat to start it. Wait for that little light to go out right there. I'll let it run for just a few seconds here. I'm just gonna bump up the RPM a little bit. We're gonna let that run just for a little bit. While it's warming up, that's a toothbrush I showed in the other video. I accidentally left it sitting like this and it got some water in there. Might be common knowledge, but the reason why you see the buckets dumped out when they're parked is so they don't hold water, they don't rust. Got a little bit of water in there. Today, it's very overcast, cloudy, and rainy. Everything is wet, but I gotta get this done. All right. Let's go to work. I'll keep it revved up to about 2,000 RPM. I'm in second range, fourth gear. Down here is a little springtime creek that runs through the lower portion of our property. And then we start climbing up this hill. I've already been up here once just to play around, see what it's going to be like. But today I got to get serious and actually do the work. I'm actually going to go to 3. I'm in 4-wheel drive, but I just started spinning. It's pretty steep up here. I'll go over here this way. Knock over that tree. Got to come out anyway. You can see right here, this is where I was playing around the other day. That tree's in the way. Just trying to rip it out of there. The ground's so soft that it's not that big of a deal. There we go. You can see right back up there is where the GoPro's at. Right there. All right, I got work to do. All right, I just idled down. Let's see what kind of damage I did. So that's a berm. It's not exactly up where I want it to be. It's about a yard short. But this mud, I wasn't anticipating this to be so much clay. And it is like really soft. As you can see all my ruts, I just can't push that pile. I was thinking about, you know, having it start right here in a nice flat area up to about where that stump is at. And a big berm. So, I mean, the tractor can lift higher than that, obviously, but I just can't push that much without the traction. So I need this to dry out a whole bunch. But for the time being, I have a shooting event in a couple of weeks, and I need to sight in my new rifle. So instead of going to the range and spending money or hitting up a friend to use his range, I just wanted to make my own. But it is what it is. So thinking about setting the target right there up against the berm. But if you draw a line straight to where the shooting position is at, now there's a bunch of trees and stuff in the way. Old log. Let me walk this really quick. So a lot of this is gonna have to come down just in this area right here. So I'll probably just, here's some stumps that are kind of hidden. So I'm thinking about just turning sideways, you know, angling downhill and just pushing this down into a big pile down there. That tree there that's full of those holes from the woodpeckers ought to come down pretty easy. But there's some stumps and stuff in there that may not come down so easy, but the stumps are, I'm worried about hitting them with the tractor and not necessarily hurting the tractor, just bringing me to a stop. The tall stuff is what I need to take down. It's almost a clear path, I think. If I just go right through here, I think that'd be a clear path. All right, back to work. I just pushed up this big log and all this brush. The majority of this brush is all from the logging operations we did this winter. I can't really move it any further than that. If you notice right there, is where that little spring creek kind of flows through. It's like the lowland of the property. It flows down to the duck pond. Over there is a big pile of brush slash from the logging. Here is a log. This is, it's old. It's really old. But I found it in the brush up there. Let's take a look at what we got. So I don't really want to push that log anymore because I don't want it to get into that mud and then it'd be stuck there. I think it's out of the way where it's at. Well, that's what I got now. So there's all these stumps. Like there's a stump. There's a stump. There's another one in here somewhere. I kept hitting them and it just bring me to a stop. And I'm just collecting all that brush as I'm pushing it down. I was just using the teeth on the bucket to push. It did a pretty good job. I mean, I tried not to take dirt because it's just not necessary here. There's a bunch of stumps. When we come up to where the impact zone is. Well, it's not perfect how I want it, but it's just too muddy. I can't really dig much more. So the target will be right here. And the shooting position is right there. So what I see in the way now is this stuff right here. Maybe if I just kind of push it over a little bit, just push it off into the woods that way. Kind of like what I did here. These little saplings, since the ground's so soft, they uproot real easy. Like I don't even feel them. This was one of those tree bush things. And it was growing right next to a big stump that I didn't see on the uphill side. And it's right there. So I was actually trying to push it over. I was just trying to push that out of the way. And of course that tree with the woodpecker holes, it just fell right over. I mean, I tapped it and it just fell. I could have pushed it over with my hands. So yeah, I'm thinking that that brush right there needs to go. And maybe I'll do something with this over here on the way down or something. I'm trying not to disturb this too much, just for erosion. But if I come up here, you know, this little sapling right here that I knocked over when I first got up here today, just push him down the hill, down there. I have to leave a path for me to get out too. That's also important. Well, all right, I'm gonna go get back in it and we'll push over that little sapling and that little bit of brush right there. And we'll push this, clean this up, and we'll call it a day. All right, we just finished it. For now, taking the tractor back to its parking spot. The tractor did well. That's the kind of work that I do with my tractor on a typical basis. For example, I did that with this tractor. I made a road back in there. You see that trailer right there. Made a road that goes through the forest. I do lots of stuff with this tractor that most people that just farm won't use a tractor for. So how I shut down the tractor, this question came up. It is a turbocharged tractor, and as you can see right here, we're nice and warm. I've been running it at 2,000 plus RPM for about an hour or so. So when I come up to the parking spot, I idle it down in stages, go right about there, and this is where I got my foot on the clutch, put everything in neutral, including the range. Sometimes I forget that one. I got my foot on the brake, pushing hard on the brake. I'm not trying to push it through the floorboard, but I'm pushing some pressure on it. I reach down here, it's my microphone cable. I reach down here and it just helps set that parking brake. Then if I have an implement hooked up, which I do, I got the box blade, I lower it all the way down. At this point, I idle it all the way down. What we're doing is allowing that turbo and that exhaust manifold to cool down slowly. If it cools down too quick, then you run the risk of cracking it. Especially when it's really cold outside, you want to do that in stages. Alright, so then I just wait for that floppy bucket. There it goes. And then I just set it down in the float. So I just push it like that's neutral position, right? This is up. You can see it going up. I go down, and if I continue to push pressure right there, I'll lift the front of the tractor up. So what I do is it's got float detent. So I just push it all the way forward, and you'll feel it a little hesitant, a little detent right there. And that puts the bucket in float. And then I just sit here, and I make sure that the HVAC is turned off. If I want to, you know, I was actually running it pretty high. It's pretty warm and muggy out with all this rain. I'd say it's probably 70 degrees and just muggy. So I was running the AC. Oh, sorry, I was looking at my actual finger, so through the phone. I was running the AC and I had it turned up, but I turned it down just to talk to you. So I usually leave it right about there. Usually I have the radio on too, but I turned it off so I could film. And I just gotta make sure that everything is right. Like the steering wheel, push it up. And after it's idled for a few minutes, go ahead and shut it off. I pull the key out and it comes with me inside. So let's go take a look at what we did. All right, we're coming up on the GoPro here. Got it set up on the tripod doing the time lapse. I really hope I set it up right. Somebody recently asked me in the last video what I use to film. I use a GoPro Hero 4 on a tripod most of the time, and my phone to film. For audio, I have a shotgun mic, condenser microphone for this guy. And what I currently have plugged into the phone right now, if you can see that, is this little lapel mic. So that's what we just did. And so right here's the firing line, right where the GoPro is. So right there, that stump is, like I said, is right about 100 yards, and that's straight out. So if I set up the target right along that bank, probably right in that high spot, that's probably 96 yards maybe. So all I really got to do for now is step back a few feet. I can come back to here, and that's probably 100 yards. I'll hit it with a rangefinder just to find out, but that's what we did. I would like to make it bigger and push it back into that hillside a little more. I really hope this GoPro picked up the footage I want. We'll find out. Well, now I'm going to let the footage run for the GoPro here, see what it picked up, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I do my absolute best to answer every comment, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Well, I got bad news. I just pushed the button to turn off the GoPro, and it turned on. So you can see it going there now. So I know without a doubt now I don't have that footage. I am so very sorry. That sucks. Dang it. Sit. Sit. You wait. Have a ball. You wait, Odin. Go get it. Good boy. Good boy. Can I have it? That's a good boy.